So we are going to be looking at some living protists today. Okay, we're going to be looking at Hydra, Planaria, and another one called Daphnia. So I just want to briefly review what these are like. So Hydra, they're generally small invertebrates, small cnidarians. You know, the ones you see are just a couple millimeters long. And this is what one looks like. You can see its tentacles stretched out there from the central area. They have this long sort of stalk of a body. Okay? It's a cnidarian. And so, like the other cnidarians, yeah, it has has radial symmetry, and again, you sort of could see it. If you imagine looking at this Hydra from above, it's a central disc, and then the tentacles of that Hydra radiate out from there. It's organized on the circular pattern. It has radial symmetry. Radial symmetry? It means it's organized in a circular pattern. You know, that's its sort of shape. And the Hydra has just one body opening. So this is where that body opening is. It's right in the middle of all the tentacles, and it has an opening. It can put food into that body opening, which goes in to be digested in its body cavity, and then waste also can leave through that same opening. And the Hydra, like other cnidarians, it has special cells on those tentacles called nematocysts. And nematocysts are these stinging cells.
Like jellyfish?
Yes, jellyfish have nematocysts as well, all the cnidarians. And it basically sends out these little sort of torpedoes that dig into their prey and injects them with a toxin that paralyzes them and eventually could kill them. And then they do that so that their prey they can then grab onto and put into their body opening and digest it.
So if we touch the water with this cnidarians and it will get stung?
No, it depends on the cnidaria. Like, for example, these Hydra are these tiny little ones. They wouldn't affect us. They're just too small.
Right.
Like, you know, if anyone's been stung by a jellyfish, a larger cnidarian, yeah, you would definitely feel it. All right. Now, Hydra have two methods of reproduction. One way is something called budding. And in budding, basically, a new Hydra just starts to grow out of the side of the adult Hydra. And eventually, as it gets larger, it breaks off and floats away and becomes its own organism. So what type of reproduction is that? Right? Yeah, asexual. There was just one parent involved. And that, after budding, that offspring is identical to the original. It's a copy of the one parent. But Hydra also can reproduce sexually as well. Like many simple animals, Hydra are hermaphroditic, which means that they don't have, there's not separate male and female genders of a Hydra. They're all the same. All Hydra have both male and female reproductive organs. So all Hydra can produce sperm cells, all Hydra can produce egg cells as well. What they do is they basically just send them into the water, and they float around, where they can come into contact with the reproductive cells of other Hydra. So sperm cells can fertilize egg cells, and then that fertilized egg can grow into a new Hydra. But that's sexual reproduction, where you're mixing genes from two different Hydra to produce the offspring. So they can reproduce asexually or sexually. Now you don't have this next slide. We're going to be looking at question.
Yeah. Do they do it mostly one way or do they do separate?
Nope, they just broadcast the reproductive cells, the sperm egg cells. Depends on sort of conditions. It might be if there's an abundance of food, they may do one or the other. So it just sort of depends. It could be both.
I know they just show that they
No, they're not really greenish. That's due to the lighting. They're like just sort of white color. Now, you don't have this slide, so don't worry about it. But this is another invertebrate we'll look at today. It's called a Daphnia, also called the water flea. It's, again, pretty small. It's a little bit bigger than the Hydra. They live in the water, fresh water, and they swim around. They're kind of neat because their exoskeleton is sort of transparent. You could see their organs inside of there. You could see their heart beating when you look at them. They'll be swimming around. They're actually related to crabs, lobsters. So what group would they be in? Huh?
Crustacean.
Yeah, they're crustaceans. They're tiny little crustaceans, a type of arthropod.
You don't have this one, you said?
What's that? What's that? You don't have the slide. So we're going to see some of these Daphnia as well as the Hydra. And if you're lucky, you may be able to see the Hydra eat a Daphnia. They do once in a while. So we'll see if we can do that. All right, that's all we need our notes for. You can pack up your binder. You don't need it the rest of the class.
What?